Hi, my name is Stasia. Welcome to Whole Home Revival. I'm so glad you're here. Grab a cup of tea and stay a little while. Today I'd love for you to join me in a cozy Saturday at home. Today I'll be making applesauce, apple cider vinegar, and a spoon and board butter for wooden kitchen utensils and cutting boards. So join me for our day in the kitchen. Every year we have a tradition to go apple picking with a friend of mine and her family, and this year we have just a handful of apples left of that special day, and I wanted to make applesauce for the freezer with those apples. And so join me as I make homemade applesauce in the slow cooker today. This was a lovely Saturday at home. Those Saturdays where there's nothing to do that you have to get done, just things that you want to get done, which is always so lovely. And I was able to get a lot accomplished this day, making homemade applesauce for the freezer, as well as apple cider vinegar and the wood butter. For this applesauce, it's a very simple recipe. For 1 pint, you want to have 8 apples, half cup of water, 3/4 cup of brown sugar, and half a teaspoon of pumpkin pie spice. I'll have the recipe in the description box below. Just know that you can triple, quadruple that recipe depending on how many jars of applesauce you'd like. The recipe does call for you to peel the apples. I choose not to do this because it saves me time and I don't mind the texture of the peels. That is up to you whether or not you peel your apples. Core them and then thinly slice them in a uniform thickness for the crock pot. And just a side note, I choose not to peel my apples for apple desserts as well. One of the reasons why I hesitate making apple pies in the past is because the process of peeling the apples. But once I decided that I'm just going to give it a try, we didn't mind the taste of the peels on the apples in pie or other desserts. So you're going to dump your bowl of apples into the crock pot and add enough water according to how many apples that you sliced. Again, I'll have the recipe in the description box below. And then either you can add the brown sugar and the pumpkin pie spice now, or you can wait until they're done cooking at the end of the day. That's your choice. This time I decided to put it in right away. It tastes the same for me either way, so your call. So you want to stir everything together, and then you want to have the slow cooker on low and cook on low for 6 to 8 hours. After the 6 to 8 hours, if you have an immersion blender, this is the best and easiest way to blend the applesauce mixture. If not, you can put yours in a blender and blend it that way. And depending on how chunky you like your applesauce, that is up to you. For me, I prefer smoother, especially when I'm feeding it to Giovanni. So I prefer to have it pretty pureed. And then all I do is fill my canning jars with the applesauce. If you plan on freezing yours, which I do typically with mine, then you want to make sure you leave enough headspace at the jar for there to be room for the expansion in the freezer. next up is making homemade apple cider vinegar. This is very simple and easy. It's a great way to save money in your grocery budget. I hold on to my apple cores and peels and keep them in the refrigerator, either in a plastic bag or mason jar, until I have enough to start a new batch of apple cider vinegar. The recipe is very simple. All it calls for is sugar, filtered water, and a little bit of already brewed apple cider vinegar. I'll make sure to leave the recipe in the description box below, as well as a link to the book that I've used for this in the years past. It's called Fire Cider by Rosemary Gladstar. After you combine the apples, filtered water, sugar, and apple cider vinegar, you want to mix it all together well and then put it aside. The first 5 to 6 days you want to stir the cider, and then after the 6th day you can just put it to the side and ignore it for 2 to 3 weeks. From there you can strain out the apples, and then you want to rebottle just the vinegar itself. If you can see the mother, which is this floating blob, you want to keep that intact and put that back into the bottled vinegar. You can reuse that for future bottles as well. So after 2 or 3 weeks, drain it, rebottle it, try to keep the mother intact and into that new bottle of vinegar. And then you want to just put it in your pantry and allow it to sit for a few more weeks before it's ready to be consumed. A quick side note, when I go to make the apple cider vinegar, I make sure to place cheesecloth over the jar before I put it off to the shelf for a few weeks, just because I don't want fruit flies to get into the jar. And then once I strain the apples out and re-jar the apple cider vinegar, you can see here I put a coffee filter between it and the lid because I don't want the vinegar to do anything to the metal lid. It's kind of a barrier between the vinegar and the metal lid. The final thing on my to-do list this day was to make some wood butter. This is very simple recipe. All it calls for is coconut oil and beeswax, and I'll make sure to leave the recipe again in the description box below. It's very simple. You want to make your own double boiler with a canning jar in a pot of water, and it allows the mixture to gently melt and combine. So you want to do this on a low, medium-low heat. Allow it to slowly combine and stir it as it melts. You can see here that it eventually does melt into this golden color. And once it is done melting, you can go ahead and turn off the heat, and you can either use canning jars, some sort of glass container. I also had these tins I had left over from making some salve, so I used those as well to put the wood butter in. When using the wood butter, you want to clean your wooden utensils and boards with a mild soap like Castile soap. Allow them to fully dry before putting the wood butter on. You can apply it with your hands or with a soft cloth, and then allow it to fully absorb, and then wipe off any excess from the utensil or board. Thank you so much for watching my YouTube video. I'm so glad you're here, and I hope you subscribe to be alerted for future videos. You can also find me over on Instagram at Whole Home Revival and on my blog at wholehomerevival.com. Thank you so much.